Okay, hello everyone. We are going to go ahead and get started with our webinar today. Thanks for joining us for 9 time-saving Google Apps tips for a new school year. And I know that a lot of you started with kids back to school today or this week, so good luck, and I hope that that is going well for you. So we will try to get right to it today. While you wait for things to get started, if you wouldn't mind, feel free to take the 3-question survey to the right of your screen. And if you are watching the archive of this webinar, we will still receive your answers. So we'd really love to have your feedback too to help us with scheduling future webinars. And before we begin, we want to cover a few housekeeping items. At the bottom of your audience console are multiple application widgets that you can use during the webinar and while watching the archive. If you have any questions during the webcast, you can click on the Q&A widget at the bottom and submit your question. We will try to answer these during the webcast, but if a longer answer is needed or if we run out of time, it will be answered later via email. We do capture all questions, including those submitted if you're watching the archive. And if you're watching the live session, we encourage you to share ideas or ask questions through the blue group chat widget at the bottom of your screen, and it has 2 speech bubbles on it. A copy of today's slides and additional information is available in the green resource list widget that looks like a folder at the bottom of your screen. You can expand the slides area by clicking on the maximize icon in the top right of the slide area or by dragging the bottom right corner of the slide area. You can minimize any of the widget areas by clicking the minimize icon in the top right corner of that window. And we encourage you to participate in the Twitter conversation by including hashtag FEK12, which stands for Forward Edge K12, in your tweets, which you can send right inside of the console by using the Twitter widget. If you have any technical difficulty, please click on the Help widget. It has a question mark icon and it covers common technical issues. An on-demand version of the webcast will be available approximately 1 day after the webcast and can be accessed using the same audience link that was sent to you earlier, and it's also available on the Forward Edge website. All right, so let's get started. So my name is Katie Seamer, and with us is also Michael Roush. He'll be kind of operating in the backside, sharing links with you in the group chat, helping to answer in your Q&A area, and so he will kind of keep us together on that side of things. And just a little bit about Forward Edge. We are a K-12 technology company, and when I say that, I mean that we do all things technology for schools, including selling hardware, setting up and managing wireless networks, and we even have our own cabling team that will pull and run cables to hang APs and move projectors in schools. And now we've really begun to focus heavily on the curriculum and integration side of things. So once you have that technology in teachers' and students' hands, how do you use it effectively in the classroom? So in the C&I department, we come with an education background and classroom experience. And in short, we offer visioning and planning services, provide professional development, and serve as on-site integration coaches to schools. So briefly, what we're going to cover today, we are going to go over some Gmail tips. We're going to look at Chrome tips and then Google Drive tips that will hopefully save you some time and keep you organized this school year. And the content presented in our monthly webinars will generally be about 30 to 45 minutes so that we can save some time at the end for some live Q&A. So please submit those questions if you have them either in the group chat widget or the Q&A widget. So first up, we're going to cover Gmail, and so I'm going to push out a poll to you. If you don't see it already, you should see it in just a second. I just want to get an idea, a little bit of experience, or what your experience is with Gmail for those people who are viewing. So just looking to know, we work with a lot of schools who they've either been a Google Apps school for a long time and they don't really utilize it, and then a lot of people who signed up for the webinar who are new to Google Apps. So go ahead and submit those poll results if you haven't already. All right, so it looks like the majority of people have definitely used Gmail and have a good understanding. So hopefully we have some new tips and tricks for you today. So first we're going to talk about priority inbox. And for me, priority inbox is a huge deal in making sure that I don't miss things in my email. So when I first started using Gmail, I know that I felt like it was just one really long list of unorganized emails. So if you feel like that, then you too need priority inbox. So you should see in the slides area, I've got a screenshot of my email inbox, and priority inbox organizes your email a little bit differently. You will have unread email in a section up at the top, so any unread email would appear at the top so you can't miss it. And then a section of starred emails, or if you are an Outlook user, this would be like what you would typically have used to flag an email so that you'd mark it as important. You can add a fourth section, and then at the very bottom you'll see everything else. So that if you are not using priority inbox, my everything else section is your whole inbox. So everything that's kind of not categorized somewhere else goes in everything else. So the fastest way, if you've got Gmail up in another tab and you're trying to kind of follow along with some of the tips, the fastest way to switch to priority inbox is actually right underneath the red compose button. You'll see inbox, and if you hover over inbox, an arrow will appear to the right. And if you click that arrow, you'll get a drop-down menu, and that bottom option would be priority inbox. So that is definitely the fastest way to switch to priority inbox. That does not let you do any sort of customization though. So if you want to customize your priority inbox, you're going to want to click the gear icon in the right hand side of your inbox, and then you're going to want to select settings. And then once your settings open, you will want to go to the inbox tab at the top in blue. And then that very top option for inbox type, you'll want to click that drop down and select priority inbox. And then you'll see the inbox sections. And from here, if you click options over to the right of each section, you can customize it. So the default will actually start you off as important in unread. I don't like Gmail to determine which emails are important for me, so I just like to change it to just unread emails. And then again, you can customize each section. We're going to talk about labels in just a minute, but you can actually add a label by clicking add option and then going to more options, and then you can pick a specific label to show up as a section in your email as well. So that is definitely the way to go if you want to customize your priority inbox. You can play around with it a little bit, get it just as you like it. But this for me definitely makes sure that I never miss an unread email using Gmail. And so now we are going to talk about labels, which I just sort of alluded to. And labels will definitely help you stay organized and find emails quickly in Gmail. And they work really similarly to folders, but the bonus to labels in Gmail is that you can actually apply multiple labels to any one email. So if you're like me, sometimes when I was using folders in Outlook, I couldn't remember which folder I categorized that email in at the time, and so it would take me a while to find it. With labels, I can apply every label that categorizes that particular email. So all you do, there's multiple ways to apply a label, but sort of the fastest and easiest is from your inbox. If you select the checkbox to the left of the email, then you'll get the gift tag icon up at the top. And from there, you can just start typing the name of a label, and like everything in Google, it will narrow down and give you predictive text. So as you start typing the name of the label, you can just select it, and you'll notice that you can see it in my little image there. It's applying the label. And you can also create a new label this way just by typing. And if it doesn't find the label that already exists, if you just click Create New, then it will allow you to create a new label. And if you choose the option Nest Label Under, just think of that like a folder inside of a folder. So this is like a sub-label to another label, or again, I always think of it like a folder inside of a folder. And another cool feature about labels, you can also color code them. So labels live over on the left-hand side of your email underneath that Compose button. And if you hover over any given label, that drop-down arrow will appear to the right. And the top option of that next menu that pops up will be Label Color. And so here you can choose, I don't color code every one of my labels, but I will color code labels, for specific topics that are really important. Again, it's just ways when I see those little colorful icons, it helps pop out to me in my email so that I don't miss anything. So what are some labels that you might want to create, at the very beginning of the school year so you can stay organized as we go through the year? You may want to do, maybe principal emails, maybe parent correspondence, or maybe a label for each course or prep that you teach. Any department emails or state testing information, TBT, BLT meetings, faculty meetings, any committees or sports teams or clubs that you lead. If basically I create a label for pretty much everything because it just helps me stay organized, and it's really fast. If I just click a label on that left hand side, it pulls up every email that has that label applied to it for me. So it helps you find things much quicker in your email inbox than just scrolling through everything. And our last tip for Gmail actually goes hand in hand with labels, and they are using filters. So filters will actually apply automatic actions to emails based on the parameters that you set. So if you want to apply a label from a certain sender, or delete emails that have a certain subject line, those pesky emails that you've tried unsubscribing from 3 times, but it just doesn't seem to ever take, you can actually set a filter to do that. So on your screen now, you should be seeing an image, and at the very top of your Gmail, you'll have a search bar, and if you click the arrow right next to the magnifying glass, it'll give you a drop down where you can actually search for a number of different things, who it's from, what's in the email, the subject line, so on and so forth. So setting up your filter, you will establish the parameters or the conditions that you want set for the email, and then you'll click Create Filter with this search at the very bottom. And then the next screen, you'll tell Gmail what to do with that email. So the one that I always pick, or usually pick, is to apply a certain label based on a sender. That way I never miss an email from that person. If I'm ever going back, I just click the label and boop, there it is. I thought I missed it, but it's in my email. And then you hit Create Filter. So again, just to kind of recap that, to create a filter, which filters will automatically apply actions to your emails, you just go up to the search bar up at the very top of your email and click that arrow that's all the way to the right of the search bar next to the blue magnifying glass. And then you will first set the condition that the email must meet. So if you want it to be from a particular sender, so maybe you want to flag any emails from your principal or superintendent and give it a specific label so you don't miss any of those emails. So you could put the principal email in the from area, just start typing their email and it should populate for you. Or, whatever those parameters that you want to meet. When you've got those conditions set, you hit Create Filter with the search at the bottom. And then you'll set the actions that you want Gmail to apply to that email. So again, you have a number of options to choose from. The most popular one that I see is to apply a specific label from a certain sender or with a certain subject line. And then I also recommend, you should see on your screen down at the bottom of that image on the right, I've got that little checkbox highlighted in red. And if you check that, also apply this filter to matching conversations, it will actually go back in time and do whatever you told it to do to any email that you had received before you set this filter. If you don't select that checkbox, it won't go back in time and it will only start applying the email to future emails. So that's just a little tip if you have been using Gmail and you're trying to go backwards and sort of get things cleaned up to set yourself up on a good foot this year. So those are our 3 quick and dirty Gmail tips. And remember, if any of this is going a little fast for you, you will have access to the archives and you have access to the slides to kind of go back through and rewatch or go back through at your own pace. So the next topic that we're going to talk about is Google Chrome. And again, I've sent out another poll to you, so go ahead. Just want to get an idea of the experience that people have with Chrome. And I usually find that people use Google Chrome a lot, but they don't really use it for anything more than searching the internet. So hopefully we're going to give you a few tips today that will help you do more than that. And looks like that's proven in our poll results here with our webinar participants. So again, most people using Chrome regularly, but not sure what else they can do besides surfing the internet. Okay, it sounds like we're having a little trouble with the sound. So give me just a minute, and I will try to refresh that. Okay, let's see if that is a little better now. I'll keep going. So. Okay, is this any better now on the sound? Okay, great. Switch microphones. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so let's keep going. So the very first and most important thing that you can do with Google Chrome is to actually sign in to Google Chrome. So, and I'm not just talking about in a window signing into Google Drive or signing into your email, but you need to actually sign into Chrome's internet browser. So when you log into Chrome's browser itself, it will actually do a lot of things for you. First and foremost, it will sync all of the things that you're seeing on your screen across all of your devices. So if you bookmark websites, if you install extensions, which we're going to talk about today, or apps, your history, it will sync all of that from device to device. And if you are operating from a Chromebook, this step is actually already taken care of for you. So this is just for my PC Mac users. So if you've ever been in Gmail under one Google account and then Google Drive you flip to and oh, you're in your personal Google account, or oh, it's a student or colleague's account who presented last, it's probably because you're switching accounts and signing in from inside of the window. You don't want to do that. You want to click in the top right of your window. It will either be 3 vertical dots or 3 horizontal lines, and then you want to select your settings. And then at the very top, you should see the option to click and sign in. And when it asks, yes, you want to link your data so that everything will be back and forth. So, and then once you're signed in, you'll see the email address that you're signed in with. And then to switch accounts, you'll click your name in the very top of the window, top right, and then select Switch Person. And the first time you're logging in with a second Google account, you'll select Add Person at the bottom. And then from there on out, you'll be able to just select that user account and it will open up a brand new window with that Google account. So here in this window, I'll be signed in to my Gmail, my Drive, my calendar, all of my Google applications under that account. So this is definitely what you want to do, whether or not you let students come up and you know, use your device to give a presentation maybe in Drive or a colleague. You definitely want to sign into Chrome just so that it syncs all of your bookmarks and extensions and everything. That would let you go from device to device, or then you could log into a Chromebook and boom, magically all of your stuff is there. But then you definitely also want to do it if you use multiple Google accounts, because then it allows you, when you click your name up in the very top right, like you're seeing the red arrow now, you'd click there and then select switch person. That will make sure that you stay logged in with the same Google account within that window. So you're not logging and having one account in one window and another account in another tab. So little tricky to get used to, but definitely make sure that you're signing into Chrome and not just signing in and out of the specific tab or application. And the next tip that we're going to look at is a very quick and easy tip, and it will allow you to change your search settings on google.com. So if you visit google.com/preferences, you can actually change a few settings for when you search for things on Google. So if you're like me, if you've ever been doing a search and you know, you get really deep into your search, you select a website, and before you know it, you've visited 5 other websites that original one has led you to, and then you're lost and you don't even know where your original search results went, you can actually, by going to google.com/preferences, change it so that every result that you open, or whenever you click on a website, it will open it up in a new tab for you in Google, so that those search results will always stay there. And another one that I think is pretty handy is you can also change the number of results that are shown on your Google search results page. So quick and easy, but will save you some time when you're researching for lessons or presentations or you know, projects with your colleagues there. So our next tip in Chrome is to use extensions. And extensions are one of my favorite and most utilized features of not only Google Chrome, but everything that Google has to offer. And extensions essentially extend the functionality of Google Chrome, and they help it to do more things than what Google Chrome can do just right out of the box. And they live, you should see on your screen, I've got it circled in red. When you install extensions, they live to the right of your address bar up at the very top. And to access extensions, I'm going to show you a few examples, because I think the best way to understand what extensions are is to see them in action. But if you want to explore them along with me as I talk about them, Michael has shared the link directly in our group chat. Or if you are on a Mac or PC, you can click in your bookmark bar all the way to the left, the colorful waffle icon that says Apps, and then select Web Store. If you're on a Chromebook, you can just go to your apps in the Chromebook, and then you should see the Web Store. Or you could also just good old-fashioned do a Google search for Chrome Web Store. And so now I will show you a few examples. And the first example that I'm going to show you is called Honey. And Honey is an extension that will work when you are online shopping. So as you're looking for all of your back-to-school supplies, after you install Honey, once you get to the checkout of an online shopping website, Honey will pop up on the right-hand side like you saw, and you can say try codes. Now, you don't always save money, but I can pretty much promise you that if there is a coupon code out there that exists for any items that you're trying to purchase from this website, Honey will find it and automatically apply that coupon code to your registry here.
So Honey is a great way, time saver from searching for hours and hours for coupon codes when you are shopping. And I show that one to teachers, one, because it usually tells you the power of extensions and gets you interested in exploring extensions. But also, we as educators tend to buy a lot of our supplies sometimes. So hopefully this will save you money when you're spending your own money. And our next extension is called Google Docs Quick Create. And this by far I use multiple times a day, every single day. And Google Docs Quick Create allows me from any tab to create a new Google document, Google spreadsheet, presentation, drawing, or form. So it saves me tons of time. I do not have to log into Google Drive first to create a new document. I can just, no matter what tab I'm on, if I'm in a meeting and I need to take notes, I can just quickly click my extension and select new document, and it pulls up a new document or spreadsheet, form, whichever you selected, in a new tab for you to keep you moving. So I love Google Docs Quick Create. If you are a Google Apps school or district and you are using Google Docs slides all the time, this is definitely a must-have extension. It is called Google Docs Quick Create, and Michael has shared the link directly for you in the chat. And our next extension, not so much a time saver, but I just really wanted to show you the versatility of extensions. And it is called Readability. And it may take just a second to load here. But what Readability will do is you will notice the article that's about to pull up for us has lots of junk on the page or lots of ads on the side. It's an article on WCPO, and there's all kinds of ads on the side. And when I click my Readability extension, it will, and then I say Read Now, it takes the page and it'll refresh, and then it gives me the page. Here we go. Now it looks like it's loading. And it will give me the page, just the important text and the photos that go along with that article. So this is really great for students who get distracted easily, if they kind of trail off, if there's too much going on in the page. Readability is an excellent extension. And again, this one was just sort of an example to show you the versatility of extensions. And there we go, it loads, and then here's that same article, but none of those ads are on the page. It's much simpler to read. I can stay focused. And I've got some extensions of interest here on the page for you. If you opened up the slides in the resources widget, that green resources widget, the link to today's slides, each of these will actually link you directly to that extension in the Chrome Web Store. So you can kind of check these out, but you'll notice when you pull up the Chrome Web Store, you can actually narrow them down by type. So are you looking for a productivity extension, so on and so forth. So these are just a few to kind of get you started using extensions. And next we're going to talk about Google Drive. And so I have sent out another poll for you. So Google Drive, I usually see kind of all over the place. I usually work with people who they aren't really sure what Google Drive is just yet, people who use it for themselves, but they're not really collaborating, all the way up to people who are using it with students and having student-to-student collaboration going on in the classroom. So let's see. Go ahead and submit that answer if you haven't already. All right, so it looks like we're a little bit all over the board in today's participants. So those 20% of you who are a Drive expert and your Drive's organized and everything, good job. Help your classroom neighbors because they probably need some help. And then we've got it kind of split with people who still have a lot to learn with Google Drive. So we clearly don't have time to cover everything in this webinar, but hopefully some of these tips will help you get organized and save some time and do some cool things with Google Drive. So the first one seems kind of obvious. but it is to use folders. And I know that that seems so obvious, but so many times I work with people in Google Drive and they don't use folders, and their drive is so disorganized that no wonder they aren't really too keen on learning how to use it. So it's easy to create a folder. When you open up your Google Drive, if you just click the big red New button on the left-hand side, excuse me, the top option will be Folder, and then you just name your folder, and you can create folders inside of folders inside of folders. So just like you're used to on your desktop, you can stay organized in this same way in Google Drive. And you can also, another added bonus that I really like, is you can color code folders. So on that image to the right on your screen, all you have to do is right click on a folder, and then you'll see the option to change color there in the middle, and then you can select a color. So I usually do this just for folders, again, that I utilize quite frequently, that I want to stand out so that I see them when I'm scrolling through my list of folders. You can actually match them up to some of your Gmail labels that you color code to kind of stay uniform there. And then it's super easy once you start creating those folders to organize everything in your drive. The commands in Google Drive, if you want to select multiple items, you can hold down the Control or Command key and select multiple items at a time. And then it works just with drag and drop. So you can drag and drop folders, individual items, and get your drive cleaned up really fast. So I highly recommend, even if you're one of those places that kiddos have already come back in session for school, get cleaned up now, because the more organized that you stay in your email and in Drive, the easier everything's going to be for you throughout the whole year. And if it hasn't rolled out to your domain yet, it will soon, and you will be able to, once someone shares a folder with you, so you'll know, those of you who are using the sharing features of Drive know that you can share entire folders of information with people in Google Drive. And when someone shares those with you, they are automatically going to be added to your My Drive area. So to help you find them a little quicker, instead of having to go to the shared with me first and then add them to your drive, if this feature hasn't rolled out to you yet in your domain, it will soon, so stay tuned for that. So next up, we are going to talk about advanced search in Google. So what was Google first known for? Their search. And they bring that same search power to all of their applications. So you saw me mentioning the search bar in Gmail, so keep that in mind, and definitely keep it in mind when you are in Google Drive. So I would consider myself a pretty organized person. I've got folders for everything in Google Drive, but I do not spend more than a minute. Literally, I will not spend more than 60 seconds scrolling through and looking for an item in Drive. I go up to the search bar at the very top and just search for the item. And Google has really improved this search option over the past year. So if you click that little drop down arrow to the right of the search bar next to that blue magnifying glass, just like we did in our email, it will give you a drop down, and you'll see now all of these things that you can actually search for. So again, you can still search by the title or words within the document. But now you can actually, if you look, that second option where it says type, you can actually search by, is it a document? Is it a slideshow? Is it a form? Is it a PDF that you uploaded? So if you are looking for, an agenda that the school secretary had shared out for a staff meeting, you can actually go up to the type of document and select that it's a Google Doc. And then if you look down towards the bottom, you'll see it says owner. And you can actually search by a specific person too. So if you know who created the document, you can actually plug in their name too, and it will actually narrow down those search criteria even more. So this advanced search saves me tons and tons of time every day looking for information. So don't forget to use the search in not only Drive, but in all Google applications. And the last tip that we are going to talk about today is add-ons. And add-ons are a lot like extensions, but they work inside of docs, sheets, and forms, and essentially they add functionality to those particular applications. So to use add-ons, when you are in docs, sheets, or forms, you'll see add-ons up at the top, and then you'll click that, and then you'll scroll down to get add-ons. And then here, right now on the screen, it's a Google form. So here I can scroll through all of the add-ons that I can add for a Google form. And I'm going to show you, again, like with extensions, I've got a couple of examples to show you to give you kind of an idea what we can do with add-ons. But once you find one that you like, you just select it. You can open it up to explore more, and then click on that blue button that says +sign free. And then you'll need to scroll down and allow access to your Google Drive. And now, so now I've installed this add-on here in my Google form. So now anytime I open up Google Forms again under this Google account, this extension form values will be there for me up in add-ons. So after you install it, when you want to run it, you just go back up to add-ons and then select it from the list of your installed add-ons. So let's look at a couple of examples. The first example that I'm going to show you, and again, these couple of examples may take just a second to switch over and load for you. But the first example that I'm going to talk about is called Save as Doc. So if you are someone that uses Google Forms to collect information, whether it's student assessments, or if you use it for any kind of applications, whatever you may use Google Forms for, you know that the responses go in a Google spreadsheet. And if they are extended responses, those can be really hard to read in the cell of a Google spreadsheet. So this Save as Doc add-on will actually let me save each form response as a Google Doc. So it, you have a few different options, whether you want them each on a new page or if you want a page break, so on and so forth. But so this will let me take all of my form responses, save them as a Google Doc, and then I can read it much easier that way. So if they're quick multiple choice answers, maybe you don't need to do this, but thinking ELA teachers, any sort of application, the Save as Doc is definitely much easier to do. So I'll wait just a second. It doesn't look like that screen has switched over on the live view yet. And again, if it's not switching over for you in my view for the webinar, you can also pull it up in the resources widget, that green button, the link to the slides, and that example is on slide number 39. So I'm going to keep going for the sake of time. And the next extension that I wanted to talk to you about, hopefully it will load up here for us, is called Flubaroo. And this extension is probably the #1 extension used by teachers who use Google Forms to collect assessments. So Flubaroo will actually, it's a silly name, but it will actually go through and grade a Google form for you. There, it looks like it's up on your view now. So you have students take a Google form as an assessment, and then you use Flubaroo to actually go through really quickly. You can select, you tell it if it, does this question need to be graded, how many points you want to give for this particular question, and then you'll go through, select an answer key, which is typically you take the form first with all the correct answers, and then within seconds, Flubaroo goes through and grades that form for you and gives you a nice new tab in your spreadsheet there and color codes it with all of the correct answers. So super fast way for you to not only grade something, but to really collect data and inform your instruction right there. And then again, I've got more add-ons of interest for you here. So the one thing to note with add-ons, this trips people up sometimes, is that when you use an add-on for Google Docs, you are not going to find necessarily that same add-on in Google Sheets or Google Forms. So you'll see here that I've got them categorized. Here's 3 suggestions for Google Docs add-ons, 3 suggestions for Google Sheets add-ons, and then 3 for Google Forms add-ons. So a lot of times if you're using an add-on that goes along with a Google form, really you'll install and access it within a Google Sheet, since that is where the responses to the form goes. So don't let that confuse you too much. This definitely gets into more advanced. However, when you start to use add-ons, you can really take the already awesome Google Drive applications and really just take them to the next level and do a lot of really cool stuff with them. You know, for instance, with Kaizena there on the screen, adding audio feedback to Google Docs, just all kinds of stuff that you can do with add-ons. So definitely as you get more comfortable with Google Docs, Sheets, Forms, check out the add-ons, test them out, see what you can do. And we've got just a couple of things for you today before we give out that link to the contact hour quiz. The first, I'm just curious for our own feedback to kind of help us inform you know, future opportunities. Which of these 9 tips do you think you are most likely to use? And you can select all 9 of them if you want to. So go ahead. We talked about a lot of stuff in a short amount of time. So go ahead and submit that answer if you haven't already. And again, remember, if you're watching the archive, you can still participate in the polls. So looks like priority inbox and labels, lots of the Chrome tips that we use, and hopefully people will check out add-ons too. Excellent. So, like I said, this was a lot of information in a short amount of time. So if you're looking for more Google Apps training, we are offering an on-site 4-day boot camp throughout the year. They're actually broken up into 2-day increments just to help with scheduling. Being out of the classroom 4 days in a row is a lot. So we broke them up into 2-day increments, 1 month apart. They're happening all throughout the year. You can go to forward-edge.net/PD Bootcamp for more information and to register. Michael's also shared the link for you in the group chat, and it's also in the resources widget for you. And you can also earn up to 2 graduate level credit hours just for attending. So the first one starts September 8th and 9th, and actually our early bird registration pricing for that session ends tomorrow. So you can still register after tomorrow, but if you want to save some money, register for that by tomorrow. And then another new initiative from the department is these webinars. So they will be free once a month, and we've got the link there for you, forward-edge.net/webinars. Currently, we've got them set for the 3rd Wednesday of every month at 4 o'clock Eastern. We'll check out that feedback that you submitted to us at the very beginning of the webinar to see if we need to adjust that. They won't always be about Google Apps, but we will talk about Google stuff a lot of the time for the webinars. Next month will be on September 21st, and we'll actually be covering Schoology. So we work with a lot of schools who use Schoology for their learning management system. And so our topic will be enhancing classroom success with Schoology. So if you are a new district who's recently adopted Schoology, or you are a teacher using the free version of Schoology and kind of embarking on your own, definitely you're going to want to check out next month on September 21st. You can register now on our website, and we will walk you through some of the basics to get you up and running for a great school year. So if you have questions, please go ahead and submit them via group chat or Q&A, and Michael will let me know which questions that I need to answer as a group here. But before we go and I start answering questions, I want to make sure that everybody has the link if you are trying to get a contact hour certificate. And so we just have, it's just a short 5-question quiz about topics we covered in the webinar. And you can get to that link by going to bit.ly/FE webinar-081716. And then Michael has also shared that in the group chat, and it's also on our webinar page. The link is live there now too. So take that short 5-question quiz. You do have to get 4 out of the 5 questions right to get the contact hour. If you get it wrong, though, you can rewatch the webinar, visit any of the content, and take it again. And once you pass, a certificate will automatically be emailed to you. And you should be able to click the link that you are seeing on your screen now. If it's not loading, sometimes you have to allow pop-ups from the platform. But that'll take you directly to our webinar page where you can access the slides, the contact hour quiz, and an evaluation. We would appreciate that. Again, since this is new, we definitely want to continuously improve our webinars for you so that they're useful. So if anyone has any questions about any of this content, feel free to ask. Don't be afraid, even if you think it's a silly question, you're most likely not alone. So be the brave one and ask the question. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, we won't hold you here. I know it's a crazy busy time of the year for everyone. So please share these free webinar resources with your colleagues so they can attend and watch. The archive will also be posted on our website with the link on your screen now. So you can also send people to watch the archive as well. So thank you so much for tuning in, especially at such a busy time of year. And have a great first few days of school, everybody.